Hey guys, here's E. During our last trip to Mallorca, we had this sweet local pastries called Ensaïmada. You can purchase them almost everywhere on the island, at pastry shops, souvenir shops, even at the airport. So I decided to make them myself. The first thing I have noticed is the strong smell of the yeast. So this is supposed to be the authentic recipe from the government of Balearic Islands. We will need a strong wheat flour with high gluten content. Here I'm using 350 grams of wheat flour type 1050. 45 grams of sourdough, the recipe is on the card above. 120 grams of cast sugar and 150 grams of water. Half teaspoon of dry yeast or 4 grams of fresh ones. A whole egg. Crack it directly into the bowl. Mix them all together with a spatula until combined. Then change it to an electric mixer with a kneading hook. We are going to knead it for at least 30 minutes until the dough is smooth and elastic. It's the gluten in the flour which makes it so stretchable. We will need some lard to grease the working surface as well as our hands instead of using loose flour here. The recipe for my self-made lard is on the card above. The dough should be soft but not so sticky. Transfer it onto the working surface and separate it into 4 equal parts. We are going to cover them with a greased foil and let them relax for about 15 minutes. The roller should also be greased before using to prevent the dough from sticking. Roll our dough to a long oval shape. It doesn't need to be too thin nor too large. We can then try to stretch it carefully from all sides. Don't worry too much. The gluten in the flour will keep the dough in place without breaking. If it does happen, just move on to the other side and keep pulling it. The amount of the dough we have should be able to cover the whole rolling pad. Now we can roll our dough together. The traditional ensaïmada has no filling. However, you can always fill it with jam, chocolate, or even some savory things as you like. You can either roll it from the left to the right or from the bottom to the top. It doesn't really matter. Take a piece of baking paper and form the dough into a spiral shape. Leave a bit of distance in between each circle so the dough will have enough space to grow later. Put the larger end in the middle so the smaller end can be hidden underneath. After shaping, we can then cover them with a foil and let them rest. I have done according to the recipe to rest them overnight, but the dough grew completely out of shape, so I had to do it again, but this time only for a short 30 minutes to an hour, or even longer without losing the spiral shape. Set our oven at 190 degrees Celsius. Put our ensaïmada on the middle rack and throw in a few ice cubes to generate steam, just like how we make bread. Bake them for a good 20 minutes. At the last 5 minutes before finishing, open the oven door slightly to release the steam. We can then let them cool and dust a bit of icing sugar before serving. It should have some air pockets in the pastry between layers because of the lard. A real ensaïmada should be light and airy. Use a small amount of dough to reach the maximum volume. Check out my vlog at Mallorca to see the authentic ensaïmada we had at a 300 years old cafe. The link is on the card above. Did you subscribe yet? If not, click here, click here, click here. Every day watch new videos at 6 p.m. Here are my 2 recommended videos. Thanks for watching. See ya. 谢谢大家。